What up, everybody? My name is Marcus Whitley, and this is Good Behavior. Now, you can find me on all social media at I am Marcus Whitley, and find any of my books, Both Sides of the Street, Choices and Consequences, Greatness Under Pressure, and Battling Demons, all on Amazon. Now, to keep up with the latest episodes, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. What's going on? My name is Marcus Whitley, and yes, this is Good Behavior. Now, today I have a special guest with me by the name of Prophet. And why don't you say what's up to the viewers?
Yes, sir. My name is Prophet. That's personal resilience, overcomes fear, inspiring transformation.
Okay.
Now I go by I Am Prophet on all platforms. So, tap in with me if you get a chance.
Okay. Now, the reason that I got you on the show today is because we wanna talk about your son that passed.
Yes, sir.
And now I don't want to make this a sad episode. I do want to talk about what happened, but I want to be able to celebrate his life and just show about all the good times that you got to have with him while he was still here on Earth.
Absolutely.
So let's get into that. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, about your son?
All right. Well, my son, appreciate Tyree Wesley. He passed away at 19. Back in 2001 on July 21st. He was born September 19th, 2001. My first son. I was 20 years old, just turning 20 at the time. So, I was still kind of young to be a parent, but he definitely brought some light into my life at a dark place when I was running around kind of reckless in the streets and just still trying to find myself, as most kids that age. But he definitely gave me purpose, and man, he was a great kid. He was always smiling as a baby. He was a really energetic baby, really energetic kid. Just running around all over the place. And he lived with his mother for the majority of his younger years, and then he came to me at 13, and I had him from like 13 through high school.
Okay.
But I was I was in his life. I used to get him on summers and things like that, and make sure him and his siblings got together. But great kid overall. Smile, light up the room, things of that nature.
Okay. Now, let's start at the beginning. So, what was it like for you when you found out that you were going to be a father for the first time?
To be honest, I wasn't even ready to process that at that age, because I was 19. I mean, I was kind of, a rolling stone of sorts. So I had dealing with different women, and to me, just I'd had women tell me they were pregnant in the past and didn't ever materialize. So until I really held him in my arms, I wasn't a believer. And then when I did, I just felt like this rush and this excitement, but also, a little bit of anxiety and fear. I think that now I know to be that, but at the time, I just didn't know. It felt great though. I felt an unconditional love where I would put this person before myself, and for the first time, that was that was major for me, because my father wasn't there for me. He left me when I was a kid, so I didn't have that. So I always said, one thing I'll never be is a deadbeat dad.
Right.
So.
I mean, I think for a lot of kids that didn't grow up with a father figure, their mindset was they never wanted to be that. They wanted to give their kid a better life.
Right.
But then you also have some that fall into the category of that's just all they know. Their father left, they're not going to be there.
Exactly. And I wasn't going to do that. I had to break that cycle. I had to break that chain. My father's father left him when he was a baby, because his mother died when he was like 1. So for me, it meant way more. And I know just what I had to go through in life, not having a father, kind of having to raise myself in a lot of ways, and without that male support and that male role model to really look up to. It drug me in different directions growing up.
Okay. So for your son growing up, what kind of things was he into? What did he like to do for fun?
Man, he was when he was in school, he liked to fight and get in trouble. But no, he loved when he well let's just go to like when he was young. I mean, he was rapping actually at a young age. You know, he wanted to rap. So I remember as young as maybe 9 or 10, him like rap battling on the buses and things like that. And I helped him write his first rhyme, him and my other son. And so he was into music. But when he got a little older, he started getting into sports. When he came to Florida, he actually got into football, and football became like his passion. And he was good. Like he went from not knowing nothing about football to being like the captain of the team, getting on the varsity team as a freshman, like making it from JV to varsity to as freshman. So he elevated. He was the type of kid that anything he did, he did the best, and he not only did his best, but he elevated like just to the head of the crowd. He was one of them
That's what's
kids.
up.
So that was one of his biggest passions. That and then it really football and music. I'd say it was his two biggest passions as far as as he got older. But he was also like the glue that stuck the family together. He was very he was like a big brother. He was just into family. Family was everything to him. And he showed it. So he just spread love, He's that type of kid.
Yeah, see that's an important trait to have. Like,
Absolutely.
so I remember seeing too a while ago the video that you guys made.
Look, when I look you in your eyes, I can see my own improved version of me. You could be my clone, a young king. In due time, I leave my throne.
Yeah,
He
the
was rapping,
foundation.
yeah.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, that was.
I'm grateful for that. I had this idea to do the exhibit song over and like talk to him, and this was when he was getting on his pen game for real, and he wrote back to me, and it was like, because I was talking to him like like father to a son, like giving him jewels and lessons, and he wrote back to me and was like, yeah, but this is what I'm going through, you know what I mean? Like this is my perspective. Like I see I appreciate you and all that, but I got this, and it was definitely a moment shooting that video. I mean, that was everything to me. So I'm definitely grateful for that. That was dope.
Okay.
And it was a positive message too. So I was glad to be able to do that and cement something positive with him.
Yeah, that was a very impactful song.
For sure.
Now, did you notice any signs of when things started to change, or was he able to hide it and make everything appear normal?
So he definitely hit it well, because one thing about it is, like during high school, he was so into football, he wouldn't even think to like when he used to tell me about kids that would like pop Xanax and be like, yo, dad, these kids are crackheads. And I'd be like, crackheads? Like in my head, I'm like, that's Xanax. But the fact that you think that's some crackhead shit makes me feel great. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he wasn't really into nothing other than, I'm sure he smoked his weed here and there, but he wasn't like on some like pothead shit, because he was training. I mean, he was on the weightlifting team, the football team. I think what happened is he got injured in the his junior year, and I tried to get him back on the team. He had a knee injury, and what happened is he didn't get on the team. I mean, he didn't get back on the team, even though he was the captain. This was like his life. So when there was a new coach, and the coach didn't let him on the team, that kind of crushed him. Especially when he went there humbly and was like, look, I'll start back from the bottom. Like, I know I missed some practices in the summer, but I pled with the coach, the school. I talked to the principal. I did everything I could do. And I think that really crushed him. So at that point, that's when COVID's happening too. So he's smoking more weed. He's, partying more than he used to. I never noticed. I definitely never noticed anything hard. I never thought he would do anything, as far as opiates, because I felt like he knew better, and he would tell me that. He'd be like, Dad, like, come on, I know better than that. You told me better than that. So yeah, he definitely hit it well. I did start noticing changes, like more mid 2020, around the time after he graduated. This is like COVID time. But we in Florida, so everything wasn't really shut down like that. So he was still going out, and I'm just thinking he's like hanging out too much. Like, yo, you going to parties, you drinking a lot. I know you 20 years old, but
Yeah.
Or he was, my bad, not 20. I know he was 18 at the time. Sorry. And I'm like, yeah, I know you out of high school, but this ain't what it is. You know what I'm saying? He also was able to hide the habit because this is the time when they were giving us $600 a week
Oh yeah.
unemployment. So he's got this money, so he's able to maintain, still looking good, still buying clothes, still fresh. So it was definitely hard for me to notice, but I definitely caught some signs. Definitely caught some signs.
Now, what was it like for the because you say he graduated around COVID time.
Yeah.
So did they actually get to be in school and have an actual graduation?
Yeah, they did it outside, like by the football field.
Okay.
Everyone had masks on, so it was a little different. But he still got to graduate. He got to walk across a aisle. But it wasn't a big graduation, like in a
Yeah.
They wasn't doing like auditoriums or nothing like that. So, but he still got to graduate. So that was a great moment. He was proud of that. I was proud of him. He was supposed to go to airplane mechanic school after that. And another problem with COVID is they postponed that for like 3 months. And then in that 3 month time, he decided like, damn, I don't think I want to go to airplane mechanic school. Because, the football dream kind of faded because not only did they not let him back on the team, but he could have got scholarships. He was that good. He had friends that got scholarships that was his peers, like on the same level. But their season was even cut short because of COVID.
Oh yeah.
So he didn't get to do that, and yeah, but the graduation still happened, so we got to graduate. It was just different though, COVID just kind of changed everything.
So it was like that was his last big accomplishment before he passed.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say that because he was doing music, and one thing I can say is he continued dropping music. He dropped like 2 albums, or which was pretty dope. Or at least one, like a collab joint, and so he was accomplishing things in a way. But as far as like from school, like a milestone, that was definitely his biggest milestone after that.
So like after school, after the football dreams died, like he was heavy into the music.
He just went all in on the music, which I like, but he also moved out the crib because remember now he can afford it because he's getting that $600 a week. And he had a little situation with one of his roommates where I don't want to get too far into it, but basically the roommate called the police on him. There was like a discrepancy back and forth, and he ended up coming back to Massachusetts, where he's originally from, because we live in Florida. And that's kind of when I kind of lost sight of him, but I did know there was a problem, and we knew because we had seen what was going on. My daughter came and helped intervene, his sister. And I knew it was an issue, but he still wouldn't admit what it was. He was saying, now he's saying, I'm doing Xanax. So I'm thinking it's Xanax, but I'm not really buying it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So me and his mother was trying to work together to get him in a rehab out here. But you know how that goes. Like, you got to want that. It's not something we can decide for you, And, he seemed to be doing all right out here. But, he slipped and fell a couple times. And we talked about it. But I definitely didn't anticipate him ODing. I'll tell you that. I didn't anticipate that because I didn't think he wasn't like nodding off or anything. He had friends that were like more deep into it than him.
Yeah.
So I just didn't see it like that. He would tell me about him. So it was like he still seemed with it for the most part when I talked to him. You know what I'm saying?
So what was it like for you when you got that call and finally heard this is what happened?
Shit, man. I was coming from it was crazy. I'll never forget. I had just came from Miami, which is like 4 hours from me. My homegirl, one of my good friends, it was her birthday, so I was out with her for the weekend. And I had just FaceTime Appreciate a couple of days, like while I was out there from in the middle of the water. We was on a boat, and I had been texting with her maybe a couple of nights prior. But I get back from this drive. It's late. I'm like hungover kind of, and I didn't even get a call. I got a bang on my door, and it was my ex-wife. She had already moved out the crib, but she came in, and she's crying, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I just get up, and all she said to me was, she had the phone, and she was like, Benny's on the phone. She was like, appreciate OD'd, he's in the hospital. So mentally, I prepared myself like, okay, appreciate OD'd, he's in the hospital. Cool. Like, not cool, but you know what I'm saying? Like I
Like, he's gonna be
mentally
good.
accepted that he OD'd and he's in the hospital. As soon as I get on the phone with Benny, all I hear is he's gone. My heart stopped. But not only did my heart stop, like a piece of me died at that moment. You know what I mean? And I couldn't process it yet because losing a child is so unnatural, right? Like, it's one thing. Grief is its own thing. Like, I've lost a parent. I've lost close friends like brothers. But losing a child is so unnatural because we're supposed to bury our parents, not the other way around, right? So what happened with me in my case, and a lot of others that I know too, is I went into like autopilot mode where it was just like I didn't totally process it. I just had to be there for my son. I had to tell my daughter. I had to just make arrangements to get out here ASAP as soon as possible. So I called my homegirl. She found me a flight. Me and my ex-wife flew up. We like, she was going crazy, so I was trying to calm her down. So I became more like the fixer of the situation. Like I just went into work mode almost. And I swear, from that day, July 19th, 2021, until his funeral, which was the day after my 40th birthday on August 1st, I was in, it's like a blur, but I was moving, but I was in autopilot. Like, my brain wasn't, I couldn't process it. It was too much. And then seeing his body in the funeral home, that's when I finally like was able to break down. But even the breakdown was me kind of consoling somebody, my ex-wife. So it was like I didn't get to fully process it. And now I kind of understand why, but it was my way of kind of coping by, it's almost an avoidance. Like, if I stay busy, so I'm making arrangements for my kids to come up. I'm having this one drive there. I'm calling this one, and everyone's like, "Oh man, you're the strongest person here. Oh my God, yo, he's so strong." It's like I don't even want to hear it because it's so far from how I feel inside.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm at my most vulnerable moment, but I just can't show it because, not because I don't want to, or not because I'm worried about what anybody would think. It's just because I wasn't able to. Like, I couldn't process. I was numb to it. And another thing to touch on that, even after the funeral, I became like a new I don't want to call it a new normal because there's nothing normal about losing a child, but you become a new version of yourself, right? And that's the part that's hard to accept because I wanted to do the things I could do before, but I couldn't. And it sounds crazy, but it's like I'm a multitasker. I'm a business oriented person in general.
Yeah.
I couldn't multitask. I couldn't focus. I couldn't really put plans together. I felt like I was moving like almost slow motion, and it just bothered me. It made me more like anxious. So I went through almost a full year of my life of literally just not, like, trying to kind of understand like why I'm like this now. You know what I mean? And all I could think of, I would just go from like these stages of anger, sadness, grief, guilt. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, not grief, guilt. I would go anger, sadness, guilt, and it's like 1 second I'm angry, and I'm trying to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to take it out on somebody. Then the next second I'm just like sad, I'm grieving, I'm just, and then I'm guilty. I'm like, damn, what could I have done? How could I have been there? And after going through that phase for a few months, I got to a place where I got to a place of acceptance, and now it's like, now I can find some purpose in this, right? I want to help others, right? I want to help, but I was a little premature, so I started getting together this idea to do a docu-series about his life to help more youth, to help, like, the youth, so this won't happen, like, in that same situation. Because one thing I could say, and I'm guilty of this too, is we all say, oh, it can never be my kid, right? My kid knows better, right? We all think it, but I'm here to tell you it's bullshit. My son knew better. He was a fucking intelligent being. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't an easily influenced person, but he still did it. You know what I mean? We make these decisions, and it could happen to anybody, unfortunately. But anyway, so I started creating this docu-series that helped me in a way, because it gave me like a kind of like a mission, a purpose, and that's driven me, even now. Like, I'm not done with it yet, but I've gotten really far. Like, we've already finished filming all the interviews, and I'm putting it together. But anyway, I say that to say the first year was crazy. I had to kind of learn how to make a partnership with the grief, if that makes sense, and just understand it's gonna be there. It's not something you get past or get through.
Right.
It's really something that you just have to learn. It's like, it's there. It's gonna be there for the rest of my life. And I know this from being in groups with like other, parents that lost their kid 40 years ago. It's gonna be there, but it's how you deal with it and how you learn how to cope in different ways. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And I think now with what you're doing with the docuseries too, and trying to spread awareness,
Right.
you're taking that grief and you're turning it into something positive.
Right. Absolutely.
And I think like that's something that your son will be proud of, and
Right.
your other kids are gonna be proud of. Like
Yeah.
you're taking making his legacy and turning it into something positive.
Absolutely. It's crazy you say that, because I started a nonprofit as well in his name, the Appreciate Project, and that's the motto is turning pain into power. That's literally
okay.
the name of it. You know what I'm saying? I even also, I'm not cross promoting my music, but that's the name of my album, The Power Within My Pain. So that's literally what, that's where I got it from. It's like, I gotta take this and do something with it. And I know what it can do if I develop like unhealthy coping mechanisms. You know what I'm saying? If I drink, and that's another thing I know. So I used to drink a lot, or at least, a fair amount.
Yeah.
And when I would drink after that, I realized that like my fuse, my switch was a lot, it was more of a trigger finger, right? So I realized, I was like, I can't drink like I used to. And I stopped drinking like that. And it's helped me. And then I started going on walks in the woods, meditating, focusing on exercise, focusing on health. And those things have really helped, because it keeps me it just keeps me in a positive space, you know what I mean, in general.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying, like it's important to do something with the grief, because if you don't do something with it, it's just gonna eat at you,
Right.
and then that's just gonna destroy the rest of your life,
Yeah.
and then nothing's gonna come out of it. Like you won't be able to carry his name on,
Yes.
or I mean, I can't say move on, but live on.
Live on, exactly. And another thing is being aware, right? The awareness of what am I doing it for? Because I have to realize that even after I do this docu-series and help however many kids, he's still not here. It's not going to bring him back. So I think part of it is like understanding, like finding a purpose, but don't let that purpose be the understanding that it's still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But just pushing in a positive. And I do feel, good that we're making progress with it. I miss him. There's a lot of also misconceptions of like, people think when they have like a friend who's lost a child, or like a loved one that's lost a child, or even a coworker at work, people kind of tend to stay away from it. It's some taboo shit, like, like let's not talk about kids in front of this one. But the thing that they don't realize, a lot of times we want to talk about our kids, we want to celebrate our children. You know what I'm saying? So like even this interview, like this means a lot, because I get to actually talk about the positive things, because he was such a great kid. I mean, the just the person he was, the influence he had, the joy that he brought to so many, the people he touched. That's what I wanted to focus on with the docuseries, and I feel like we did get that pretty much embodied in it. Just, the editing process is going to take a while, but it's going to release this year for sure.
Now, you got a name for that already, or
You know what? It was tentatively Turning Pain into Power. That was gonna be the name. It was gonna be Appreciate Turning Pain into Power. And also, I didn't say this too, but the nonprofit, I took his name and made it to an acronym as well. It's a purpose, reflection, empowerment, support, healing, awareness, and education. And and it's focusing on helping at-risk youth, but it's also gonna focus on grief as a whole, and with parents that grieve, and hopefully parents that are dealing with children with addiction, at the same time. I know it's like 3 different things, but we're trying to wrap it up into one mission, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So I mean, you're doing a lot of different things right now. That's keeping your mind busy.
Right.
And it's positive, so it is going to help you push through.
No doubt.
Now, at the same time, so do you have anything else going on that on top of that? Because I heard you just say that you've been working on music as well.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I'm definitely on my music. I just dropped the album, The Power Within My Pain. Mm-hmm. It's on all platforms. I Am Prophet. And yeah, it really I definitely got to get out a lot of what I've been going through, appreciate, and just going through in general with life. I got to definitely vent, and also I think it's introspective, and I talk about some of the things like we talking about, like turning the pain into power, and just going from a negative to a positive, and also coping with it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So, do you want to let the viewers know, well, first off, where they can find your son's music, mm-hmm. and so that way they can check him out and be able to hear and see who he was as a person, and then also where they can find your music.
Absolutely, and plus, I will be dropping more of his music too. We're working on how we're gonna package it, because he's got so much unreleased music. It's almost like Tupac. You know what I mean? We could do Machiavelli 1 through 5, but Preshae, you can find it Preshae. He's all over too. He's on most of the streaming networks. I think all of them. He's got a couple projects. Also, he's on YouTube and things like that. He's got videos, and there will be more. So just definitely stay in tune with that. My music, I Am Prophet. You can find that. That's my Instagram. I'm on Facebook, Prophet Bang Out Records. If you just Googling, you find a bunch of different mixtapes and things of that nature. But yeah, I'm on that, and I'm definitely feeling what you're doing with the show, and I appreciate the opportunity. You know what I mean, hopefully we can do more.
Now, I hope this episode was able to help spread awareness of grief and just really paying attention to your children, because tomorrow's never promised. You have to appreciate the time that you have right now and make the best out of every day. Now, I want to thank my special guest, Prophet, for coming through and sharing this impactful story.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro.
Now, my name is Marcus Whitley, and this is Good Behavior. So until the next episode.